Dear students, this module is a continuation of the previous module, that how internet works. And in this module I'll discuss with you the two modes of communication. Of course, one of them which is basically used for internet communication, which is packet switching. And then of course I'll also talk about different components like servers, like peer-to-peer communication, that like routers, which are part of this, part and parcel of all of this. So let's look at some in more detail. Now this picture shows what is called as circuit switching. Why it is called circuit switching? The reason being because when these two, from this point and this point, there is a communication between say point A and point B, then this circuit is dedicated for this communication. This circuit is set for this communication. This circuit is not shared by any other communication system. It is dedicated for this. Okay. Now in the old days, if you have seen any movies, this was done manually. So you might have seen boards with wires and ladies sitting, and they are pulling the cables from the holes and putting in different holes. So what they were doing, basically they were establishing a circuit, dedicating a circuit for a certain communication. Now that circuit switching is very costly. The reason being that this circuit, if between 2 points on different continents, is dedicated to be used by only 2 people, and one of them, say for example, goes to get coffee or tea, now that circuit is dedicated. Nobody else can use that circuit, and that's also very expensive. And if the people are typing email and they sit and think for a time that what should they type, and during that time nothing is happening, that circuit is not available, and all the other people in the world who would like to use that circuit cannot use that circuit. So that is a big disadvantage of circuit switching, that one, it is very expensive, and number two, that it slows down the traffic. So the point I'm trying to make is that circuit switching is not made for internet, is not optimized for internet. So just to give you, I have discussed circuit switching just to give you an idea about circuit switching. Now we move on to the next mode of communication, which is packet switching. Now packet switching, what happens is that I have this message over here, and I divide this message into packets, M1, M2 and M3. Now maybe M3 uses this route, M1 uses this route, M2 uses this route, and over here M2 is lost. It is possible M2 is lost. Or maybe they arrive in different order. First I get M3, then I get M2 which was lost, and then I get M1 instead of this order. The benefit of packet switching is that one communication media or medium is being used by hundreds and thousands of different users. It is shared by them. So the benefit is that it optimizes the bandwidth, it is low cost, right? And the transmission control protocol, which I'll be discussing very shortly, that takes care of ordering of those packets, assembling those packets, and making the request to resend those packets. So what happens is that ultimately this message which was sent, that is received over here intact, perfectly, without any issues. So that is packet switching. So internet works on packet switching. It is low cost, it is efficient, utilizes the bandwidth, and allows hundreds and thousands and more users to simultaneously share the same communication medium. So what are the devices which are used for the internet to work? Servers. Server is a main machine. We have the main machine which is taking care of mail, which is the mail server, we have a main machine which is taking care of the network. We have a network server, a main machine taking care of database server. So these are the servers. Client machines are the machines, my palm top, my laptop computer, through which I connect and retrieve data from the server. I have my processing power, but I get the data, I get the mail, I get the service. So I am the client. Then I have peer-to-peer. Peer-to-peer means I am having a chat session. Now during the chat session, my machine is sometimes a client, sometimes it's a server. So that's a peer-to-peer communication. And finally I have the routers. So routers, what they do is, routers, they connect the machines, say in a school, through a router to an ISP, and so on. In an organization, connect different computers to a router to the main server, and so on. So let me show you in a picture how all these things are connected together. So you can see over here that this PC is the client over here. This is the client over here. This is the DNS server, which I will be very talking. Domain name server, domain name service. This over here is the internet. This over here is one router. This over here is another router, then another router. You can see that there are many routers. And over here resides my domain, which I had purchased on this web server. I'll talk more about the details about this. In this environment, how these things work? These things work using the IP internet protocol. They work using the TCP IP transmission control protocol and the domain name service. Okay. So what is IP? IP is basically, it assigns the addresses to different devices. IP address, which I have briefly mentioned, which consists of numbers between and dots between them. And then I have the transmission control protocol, which assembles and disassembles and takes care of the lost packets and everything. So that is the TCP control protocol. And then I have the domain name system. Domain name system is required because the IP address is almost impossible for people to remember. So they have associated text with it, right? So when I host my domain at a certain service provider, they associate an address to the device where it is hosted. So that is the IP address. And the DNS, the domain name system, translates the text into the IP address. So this is how things are tied together. This is how they work. I hope you understand. You have questions, you are welcome to ask. Thank you very much.